Okay, this is a presentation about a parcel of land adjacent to the Big Pine Paiute Reservation we call the Bartell parcel. I'm Sally Manning, the Environmental Director for the Big Pine Paiute Tribe of the Owens Valley, and this is an update of a presentation I gave to the Inyo County Board of Supervisors more than 10 years ago. Today, I'm going to record it with the hope that the information may be shared and put to use. In case you're not familiar with the Bartell parcel. Okay, let's change the slide. Or if you're not familiar with the location of Big Pine, California, we are located east of the Sierra Nevada in the Owens Valley. There. Zooming in on the community of Big Pine, I show the outline of the Big Pine Paiute Reservation in red. The reservation here as shown is 279 acres, and US Highway 395, shown as the dashed black line, runs north-south through part of it. The blue rectangle shows the location of the Bartell parcel. The Bartell parcel sits at the northeast corner of US Highway 395 and Bartell Road. It is bordered on its east and south sides by the reservation. The land that is now the reservation and the lands surrounding the current reservation had been used by the indigenous people since time immemorial. In the 1850s, just before the arrival of many Euro-American settlers, federal surveyors led by A.W. von Schmidt mapped the Owens Valley. In the Big Pine area, their maps show active and intense irrigation by the local tribal people. Here I overlay the old surveyor's map on a modern image and include the reservation boundary. Zooming in, looking near the yellow square, which is a section corner, we see von Schmidt's blue arrows, which show how the Paiute people diverted water from Big Pine Creek, directing it southward and eastward. Again, the blue rectangle shows the Bartell parcel. The Inyo County Assessor parcel map shows the Bartell parcel as two parcels totaling 5.6 acres. All of it is owned by the City of Los Angeles Department of Water and Power, also known, of course, as DWP. So anyone can go into Google Earth and take a look at imagery from the past. Google Earth images for this area in 1987, shown here, are in black and white. Back then, the parcel had trees, and the dark shade indicates there was irrigated grass and pasture-like vegetation. You can see it is different from the lands to the south, but the grass is not quite as intense as the school's football field to the north, with the yellow arrow there, but it is similar to other nearby irrigated pastures. Google Earth from 11 years later in 1998 also is in black and white and continues to show the Bartell parcel with trees and irrigated vegetation. However, sadly, this color image taken in 2004 shows dry vegetation and fewer trees. And here is how it looked in 2009. In 2013, Inyo County Water Department looked at their collection of air photos to assess the past irrigation conditions for the Bartell parcel. The County Water Department saw that the parcel was fully irrigated from 1981 through the early 1990s. By the mid-1990s, it appears the full amount of irrigation water was not being delivered, and this dwindled to minimal irrigation by 2000. Clearly, by 2005, the parcel was dry, and it has been dry ever since. So, in 1987, fully irrigated, 2000s, dry. Beginning in 2010, tribal staff started raising this issue at meetings of the Inyo LA technical group meetings, and also the Inyo County Water Commission. We did not know why the irrigation had ceased, but we thought that if we alerted the county to this matter, maybe it could get fixed. When we asked, one DWP official publicly stated that the Bartell parcel had only received water in very wet years. However, in correspondence shortly afterwards from another DWP official to Inyo County, DWP said that their records do not support the theory that LADWP had previously supplied irrigation water to the parcel. And then they went on to say that the parcel seemed to be inappropriately irrigated in the past by their lessee. Meanwhile, here at the tribe, all we had to do is just look out the window and see that this parcel of DWP-owned land, prominently located on the highway, had been irrigated for all of our lifetimes up until the 1990s. But DWP, in their crafty language, denies everything. So what happened next? Well, here is a view of the parcel taken from 395 looking southeast in September 2012. This is more than a decade after the irrigation had ceased, and it looks like an abandoned and weedy mess. But, thanks to the tribe calling attention to it, DWP sent crews out to clear off all the weeds and brush, pile it up, and burn it. So a few months later, in April 2013, this is what we saw. Again, another view taken from the highway looking northeast in September 2012, and how it looked the morning they burned in April 2013. 1 month after the burn, here is what we saw. Now, even though DWP claimed they had never allowed the parcel to be irrigated, there was a network of buried irrigation pipe on this DWP-owned land. The irrigation infrastructure, of course, became obvious once DWP did all the work to clear the vegetation off the site. But then DWP proceeded to dig out and destroy the pipes. Soon, on windy days, the dust blew off the Bartell parcel, affecting air quality and people's homes. This was before the tribe had its air program, so no data were collected. We just have these pictures. A DWP crew then arrived in October 2013 and appeared to be spraying something. I saw them and went out to ask, but the workers would not share and referred the tribe to DWP's management. It took months to learn that a commercial soil tackifier, a vinyl polymer, had been applied. DWP also put a fence around the parcel. They had given no notice to nearby neighbors or the tribe. There was no environmental review or even a courtesy heads up about this activity. So what could be done? Well, in fact, the answer seemed and still seems too simple. The tribe requested that DWP and Inyo County adhere to the language in the Inyo-LA Water Agreement, which was signed in 1991. The water agreement talks about how lands supplied with irrigation water during the early 1980s would be supplied with adequate water in perpetuity. Key phrases here: these lands will be supplied with water, and DWP shall continue to provide water to these lands so that the way the land was used in the early 1980s can continue. This management prescription was applied to all the lands DWP was irrigating in the early 1980s. It was part of the water agreement deal between the county and DWP. And these irrigated lands were classified by them as Type E. Some of you in the audience have heard about or may be familiar with this water agreement vegetation type classification. So please bear with me and let's take a look at what this means for Big Pine and for the Bartell parcel. Here, I've overlaid the water agreement map of DWP lands showing the classification scheme. The brightly colored puzzle-like polygons delineate areas of more or less similar vegetation, such as shrublands or meadows. The purpose of the map was to show the vegetation conditions on all DWP land holdings in Owens Valley. After collecting the data, the polygons, which are also called parcels, were classified according to the A, B, C, D, E vegetation scheme. And this scheme tells us how they intended to manage the lands from the 1980s onward. Type E lands, the irrigated lands, are shown in blue. Okay, we see a problem. The B shows the location of the Bartell parcel. Why isn't it colored blue? Well, let me explain. We did not learn until sometime after the Inyo-LA Water Agreement was signed that the DWP mapping people had done a rather poor job of inventorying conditions on DWP-owned lands in and near the towns in Owens Valley. That is, some parcels of the DWP land slipped through the cracks. Curiously, the opposite also occurred. DWP sometimes mapped parcels that did not belong to them. Two such parcels near Big Pine are outlined here in the cyan color. The pink hatching I added here shows the lands owned by LADWP. Zooming in on Big Pine, we see there are many parcels that DWP failed to put on the map. The goal of the mapping was to characterize DWP's lands for future management purposes. But here I make an important point. The map they produced and presented to the public in Inyo County when the water agreement was signed, it had some problems. However, a map and a classification are two different things. If a DWP-owned piece of land was somehow not on the map, that does not excuse those lands from the water agreement. There were no DWP lands that were exempt from the water agreement. So anyone could use the 1980s air photos that DWP used or visit these parcels, and by following a few simple rules, the water agreement's vegetation classification system can be applied to determine which management category the land fell into, either A, B, C, D, or E. The Bartell parcel, as I have shown, is DWP land, and it is classified as type E. Okay, there's a bit more to the story. In 2012, the tribe obtained this sketch map showing the irrigation system in Big Pine as of 2012. The location of the Bartell parcel, again, is shown in blue. The black lines are roads and assessor parcels, but the green and brown lines here, which I know are hard for you to see, show the locations of open ditches and buried pipes. Here at the south side of Big Pine, DWP releases water from Big Pine Creek, which flows through a gauge at School and Blake Streets. Flow can then go east and zigzag through a few parcels and meet Highway 395. This point, where it meets 395, is directly across from the middle of the Bartell parcel, where the irrigation pipes I showed you used to be. The tribe learned that there used to be a culvert under the highway at this point. This is how water flowed east to supply the Bartell parcel. However, when Caltrans did some work on the highway in 2004, DWP told them the culvert could be removed. You would have a hard time convincing me that DWP didn't know what it was doing. This once and for all killed the parcel that had been irrigated for hundreds, if not thousands of years. The blue arrows show where the flows go now during the irrigation season. And of course, the Bartell parcel is cut off. This is DWP's irrigation schedule. It presents how water is to be distributed in Big Pine. Outlined in pink, the schedule says that 1.3 cubic feet per second was committed to the lessee for the Bartell parcel during the irrigation season. If DWP did not irrigate this parcel, why is it on their schedule? The Bartell parcel is 5.6 acres, and to keep it green all summer, it should receive at least 5 acre-feet per acre. Using this math, the Bartell parcel should have been getting at least 28 acre-feet of water provided to it each year. This amount of water does not rank as a hardship for DWP, but for Big Pine, we're looking at about 650 acre-feet of water that has not been provided since they stopped irrigating in the late 1990s. And of course, DWP can take that water and they can sell it to their customers in Los Angeles. So let's review. The Bartell parcel is 5.6 acres of DWP land bordered on two sides by the reservation. It was land that had been irrigated for centuries until irrigation water stopped being delivered sometime after 1998 and before 2005. DWP decided to apply its scorched earth method of land management to the parcel in 2013. DWP got rid of the irrigation lines and culvert that had previously been used to supply the parcel. And to try to stop the dust from blowing off the parcel, DWP applied a synthetic substance. So, what happened? What happened when the tribe raised its legitimate concerns about this blighted DWP parcel located in the reservation's front yard? As DWP pulled out the usual excuses from its playbook, Inyo County stayed on the sidelines. Inyo County, of course, has the standing to demand that DWP fix the situation. The Inyo County Water Commission took a tour of Big Pine in September 2013 and visited the Bartell parcel. When the Water Commission met 2 months later to recap, the Inyo County Water Director reported that Inyo County had done nothing. The Inyo County Water Commission next met 3 months later in 2014, and this matter was not even on the agenda. Tribal staff attended that meeting and asked during public comment, and there was no reply from the staff or the commission. At a Water Commission meeting a year later in 2015, commissioners expressed frustration that nothing had been done about irrigating the Bartell parcel, but it quickly became clear the water department had no intention of even talking about it. So here it sits. Here is how it looks in Google Earth in 2020. In wet years like 2017 and this year 2023, the Bartell parcel is covered with annual weeds. Some key takeaways. The water agreement applies to all DWP-owned land in Inyo County. There is no DWP land that is exempt from the water agreement. And the agreement comes right out and says in plain language that DWP shall continue to provide water to these lands in an amount sufficient so that the water-related uses of such lands that were made during the 1981-82 runoff year can continue to be made. The water agreement has no expiration date. DWP did all of this over a 5-acre parcel, which is 5 acres out of DWP's 275,000 acres in the valley. Inyo County did not do anything. It might be nice if the tribe could acquire the land and, of course, the water that is supposed to go with it. In case you need a reminder of this history, the 1939 land exchange between the federal government and DWP that created the Big Pine Reservation provided the Big Pine tribe with less than half a square mile of land to which the tribe has no water rights. We see today that the heavy hand of colonialism is still alive and well. The end.